Silence is heavy here. Not the peaceful silence of nature, but the suffocating quiet of history demanding to be heard. We stand before Gongju National Hospital, a monument of concrete and pain, built in an era when mental suffering was not understood, but rather contained. Its main structure serves the present, but deep within its foundation, a terrible secret lies buried. For decades, local residents have avoided this side of the building, where the shadows cling longer and the air feels perpetually colder. They speak of a ward intentionally cut off from the rest of the institution, a place whispered to be an absolute endpoint, even for the most desperate souls. This is the threshold we must cross, the sealed entrance to Ward 3B, where time stopped, and the screams were allegedly muffled by concrete.
Ward 3B. Even the designation carries a cold, bureaucratic finality. It wasn't closed due to lack of funding or mere decay. It was sealed. The story suggests experimental, isolationist treatments carried out in the mid to late 1970s, a period marked by desperation and a lack of ethical oversight in certain corners of psychiatric care. Imagine the patients, deemed incurable, unmanageable, or simply inconvenient, being shifted here into the lowest level, away from sunlight and official scrutiny. The staff who worked here were notoriously taciturn, rarely seen in the main corridors. They were guardians of the forgotten. The seals placed upon the doors decades ago were not meant to keep the curious out, but, as the whispers imply, to keep something infinitely worse contained within its echoing, stagnant confines. We are about to break that seal. The moment the barrier is bypassed, the air changes. It doesn't just feel cold, it feels heavy, compressed, thick with the smell of mold, stale disinfectant, and something subtly metallic, perhaps dried blood, perhaps just the rusting metal itself. Our flashlights cut meager paths through absolute blackness. The floor is coated in a uniform layer of dust, disturbed only by the footprints of those who sealed it off long ago. This is not a place where natural decay happened. This is a snapshot of institutional dread, perfectly preserved. Every step echoes, betraying the profound silence that has governed this space for 40 years. The oppressive architecture, designed for maximum containment and minimum comfort, immediately starts to assert its dominance, closing in around us as we move deeper into the corridors, designed to crush the human spirit. We move through the main ward area. The geometry here is disturbing. Incredibly long corridors, punctuated by identical cell-like rooms, each with a small barred window looking onto the hallway. There is no exterior light source down here. It forces introspection, confinement, and madness. Imagine being a patient, locked in one of these cubicles, listening to the muffled cries of others, realizing that your existence had been completely erased from the world above. The numbering on the doors is faded, scratched, sometimes violently defaced. It's here, walking this path, that you feel the sheer volume of despair absorbed by the walls themselves. It is the architectural manifestation of hopelessness, a labyrinth designed not for healing, but for control, and ultimately, absolute oblivion. A sharp glint of metal catches the light. As we look closer, we start discovering the fragments, small, tangible pieces of the lives that ended or were broken here. A rusty skeleton key, too specific to open any modern lock, lying forgotten beneath a collapsed wooden desk. A child's rubber ball, flattened and cracked, inexplicably found in a ward intended for high-risk adults. And perhaps most chillingly, small, crudely drawn pictures affixed to the backs of remaining patient files, distorted human figures, eyes wide with terror, sketched in what appears to be pencil charcoal, depicting scenes of restraint and panic. These objects are silent witnesses. They are the artifacts of forgotten suffering, providing a devastating glimpse into the terror felt by the individuals housed in Ward 3B, abandoned to the shadows long before the doors were officially closed. The sounds begin subtly, easily dismissed as the creaking of the old building settling or the movement of air through ventilation shafts. But the longer we remain stationary, the more distinct they become, a faint, rhythmic scratching sound originating deep within the wall cavity beside us. It is unnerving because it sounds intentional, cyclical, like a desperate fingernail against plasterboard, repeating a slow, dreadful pattern that signifies prolonged desperation. The atmosphere seems to thin out around us. The cold air intensifies, and a primal sense of being observed overtakes rational thought. It's the feeling that the residual emotional energy of this place is attempting to communicate, not through words, but through physical manifestation, a tactile dread that settles on your skin and refuses to let go. The history of this specific ward points towards controversial deep sleep therapy and experimental hydrotherapy treatments common during this period, often administered without adequate consent or monitoring. These treatments, meant to calm or subdue, frequently resulted in profound trauma or permanent neurological damage. Ward 3B was where the failures went, the patients who did not respond to even the harshest methods. The architectural isolation allowed staff to operate outside standard protocol, free from interference. The files suggest extended periods of sensory deprivation, designed to recalibrate the mind. But what was truly recalibrated was the patient's capacity for fear. This was not a place of healing, it was a crucible of desperation, where the boundaries of ethics were dissolved in the name of control. We find the seclusion room. It is instantly distinguishable. The door is thick, metal-plated, with no window, and secured by multiple heavy-duty locks. Inside, the space is small, maybe 8 by 10 feet, and horrifyingly devoid of anything but heavy-duty floor bolts where restraints would have been anchored. But what truly defines this room are the walls. They are not merely scratched, they are deeply gouged, torn apart by something beyond simple human frustration. These marks run deep, indicating prolonged, furious physical struggle against unyielding concrete. Some gouges are high, some low, suggesting movements of sheer, unadulterated panic. The patient placed here must have felt the entire world pressing in, believing they were entombed alive. The desperation here is palpable, leaving a chilling, violent stain on the physical structure of the room itself. Tucked away in a discarded utility cart, we uncover a small leather-bound notebook, not an official record, but perhaps the hastily kept diary of an empathetic, terrified nurse. The ink is spiderwebbed, barely legible, but one entry stands out, dated 1978. The noises tonight were unbearable. Patient 404 is gone, but the sound remains. They moved him to 3B, the silent ward, but the silence here is a lie. It's not empty, it's full of the things we don't dare name, the residual consciousness of those we erased. This isn't just decay. This is documentation of a haunting, written by someone who witnessed the line between medical intervention and outright cruelty dissolve. The diary confirms that the true horror of Ward 3B was not just the physical confinement, but the complete mental and psychological destruction enforced upon its occupants. The light source, steady until now, seems to be struggling against the oppressive density of the air. A feeling of intense cold washes over us, despite the lack of external drafts. Then, a shadow, too quick and too dark to be natural, moves at the periphery of the flashlight beam. Not the shadow of dust or debris, but a humanoid shape receding rapidly down the main corridor. We are not just observing history, we are intruding upon a space that is actively occupied by a lingering presence. The rhythmic scratching heard earlier returns, now closer, faster, seeming to originate directly behind a section of drywall near the old nurses' station. It's a chilling reminder that whatever trauma was infused into these walls 40 years ago has never truly been extinguished. The ward doesn't want us here, and its silent, desperate residents are making their disapproval known. The desire to remain and analyze has been replaced by an urgent primal need to exit. We retreat, not quickly, but with a labored, heavy desperation, sensing the oppressive atmosphere closing in behind us. Every door we pass seems to creak louder, every shadow seems to deepen, and the scratching noise is now a constant, scraping insistence that follows our movement. The architecture itself seems hostile, the corridors growing impossibly long as we fight our way back toward the entrance. We have uncovered the sealed horror of Gongju, found the proof of the suffering, and now the energy left behind is retaliating. It is a slow, agonizing climb out of the mental prison that this institution became, leaving the profound, visceral understanding that some places are not merely abandoned, but are cursed by the memories they refuse to surrender. We are back outside. The evening air feels fresh, yet the oppressive chill from Ward 3B clings to us like damp earth. The hospital exterior, bathed in the soft light of the moon, now appears less like a structure of healing and more like a monstrous mausoleum. The secrets of this sealed wing, the desperate experiments, the violent isolation, the forgotten patients, remain locked within its concrete heart. The suffering inflicted in that buried space is a dark chapter in history, a testament to the lengths institutions will go to when accountability vanishes. We leave this place physically, but the resonance of its profound terror is a memory that will remain indelible. The horror of Gongju is not fiction. It is the silent, chilling truth of South Korea's sealed psychiatric past. If you dare to face the silence of history with us, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.